The views expressed in this blog are hosted on my own website, are strictly personal, and do not reflect the views of any organization. Hello and welcome once again, my friends, to Straight Bat, my weekly video blog where, as the title suggests, I comment with a straight bat. Now, this week marks 5 years since arguably the most important decision taken by the Narendra Modi government. And yet, interestingly, the 5th anniversary of the decision to demonetize 500 and 1000 rupee notes was not met by the usual band baja baarat that the Modi government so relishes. The event management that this government is famous for was clearly missing on this occasion, the high-pitched propaganda in a way, because otherwise the Modi government never misses an opportunity for event management. Clearly, it would seem that the Narendra Modi government has recognized that there is nothing really to celebrate over a decision that caused so much disruption and chaos. Almost 86% of the currency of this country overnight criminalized and withdrawn. And the hardship that a number of small and micro enterprises had to suffer, especially in the informal sector, most Indians do not wish to be reminded of what happened on November 8th, 2016. Now, the Modi government, you might recall, had claimed at the time that Notbandi would lead to an end to the black money economy of this country. It would break the back of terror. It would end counterfeit currency. Well, truth to be told, those claims have not been matched by the reality on the ground. In fact, the recent Reserve Bank of India report points to an unprecedented rise in currency that is held by the public. Currency held by the public has grown by about 57% from 4th November 2016 to October of 2021, from 17.5 trillion rupees in November 2016 to 28 trillion rupees in October 2021. And the cash to GDP ratio is now at 14.5%, the highest since independence. Of course, the Modi government has since changed the goalposts and now points to an impressive increase in digital payments. UPI transaction values crossed $100 billion in October, and this is a huge positive, no doubt about it. But it begs the question, did it really require a hugely disruptive move like demonetization to give a push to digital payments or the digital economy? Or is this simply a natural consequence of the growing use of easily accessible technology, or what I call a geo-driven word, geo? Which leads me to ask today's central question. Why is it that NaMo did DeMo? Why did NaMo do DeMo? There's been a lot of speculation on this, but it's lacked a definitive answer. So that's what I'm going to try and give you today. Now, the most widely speculated answer for NaMo to do DeMo was that the Prime Minister, as an astute practitioner of realpolitik, especially electoral politik, wanted to rid the opposition of any advantage that they might have in terms of their traditional sources of election funding. Remember, the demonetization decision of November 2016 is taken in the run-up to the crucial 2017 Uttar Pradesh election. The BJP had just lost Bihar a year earlier to the Lalu-Nitish combine, and they could not afford to lose Uttar Pradesh, really the most populous and politically critical state in the country. Akhilesh and Rahul Gandhi had tied up like Nitish and Lalu. They were being called the UP ke ladke. And there was a general belief that there was a buzz around them. Now, the BJP did not want a repeat of Bihar. The BJP also wanted to ensure that the likes of Mayawati, who allegedly were completely dependent on this cash economy, would not be a force to reckon with. Demonetization clearly pushed, in a sense, the cash-dependent regional parties of Uttar Pradesh on the back foot, suddenly denying them the cash they needed for an election campaign. It also gave the Prime Minister a crucial talking point, projecting himself as a crusader against corruption. Remember also, this was the time when Rahul Gandhi was attacking the Prime Minister for Adani, Ambani, cronyism and calling the Modi government a suit boot ki sarkar. This theory that Mr. Modi did demonetization for political benefit may be true, but only up to a point. There is enough reason to believe that the BJP, which had swept Uttar Pradesh in the Lok Sabha elections of 2014, was the front runner in 2017 as well. Remember, the anti-incumbency then was with Akhilesh Yadav. He was controlling UP at the time. Therefore, one has to ask the question, did it really require demonetization, a dramatic step like this, 86% of currency suddenly withdrawn overnight, to completely capture the political narrative of UP? Truth is, demonetization did possibly benefit Mr. Modi and the BJP politically, and the timing of the decision may well have been determined by the election calendar. But in my view, the real driving force was much more personal. Having spoken over the last few years to various sources in Delhi and Gandhinagar, I can now confirm that Mr. Modi had a long-standing bee in his bonnet about demonetization as a solution to the black money issue, even when he was Gujarat Chief Minister. In fact, in 2013, Mr. Modi meets Pune-based Anil Bokil, a self-styled economic revolutionary in Gandhinagar. In 2013, they have a long meeting. It was supposed to be for 15 minutes. It stretched into several hours. Bokil had prepared a blueprint for what he believed was the solution to black money. He said since 1989, his NGO called Artha Kranti had been pushing for a phase-wise elimination of all high currency notes. Mr. Modi was very impressed, we are told, with Mr. Bokil. In fact, invited him for a seminar and said that he wanted him to go forward with this idea. Remember, this was the time Mr. Bokil had also met Baba Ramdev, the yoga guru who was also trying to build his public image as a crusader against black money. Also interestingly involved in this anti-black money campaign at the time, or in the lead up to this decision, was the Vivekanand International Foundation, a Delhi-based think tank, strong links to the RSS. Among the foundation's key decision makers was Ajit Doval at the time. He was a director at the Vivekanand International Foundation in 2013, later becomes National Security Advisor to the Prime Minister. Also involved S. Gurumurthy, the Chennai-based RSS ideologue and financial mind. So it was this group that had begun holding seminars at the time about the war on black money, and even more interestingly, this group supported India against corruption campaign of Anna Hazare in 2011, a campaign that had a huge role to play in the downfall of the Manmohan Singh government. Essentially, this group had a big influence on Mr. Modi at the time when he was Gujarat Chief Minister, and he was taken up by these various anti-black money campaigns. Therefore, the DeMo announcement comes in November 2016 based possibly on an election calendar, but it was at a meeting of high-level officials, first in Gandhinagar in 2013 and later in February 2016, that Mr. Modi raises the issue of the need to fast forward a plan to tackle black money. It was a small meeting, closed door, very few officials. When the RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan was asked about it, he warned that the move would lead to more chaos and was less than ideal. The Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, who was at a meeting in February 2016 when this idea was broached, kept silent, as did most key officials in the know. Among those officials were Nipendra Mishra, then Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister, who had also been closely associated with the Vivekanand International Foundation. Net, and this is why I want to stress this point, that the demonetization decision was not taken by Mr. Modi on a sudden whim. It was something that the Prime Minister actually believed in. It was a decision that was taken by overruling expert advice, but instead was planned by a small group of advisors that the Prime Minister trusted. It did not have economic logic, but it was seen to be a personal moral crusade that would have collateral political benefit. Don't forget that the Prime Minister, when he took this decision and made it public, repeatedly used the word dharam yudh more than once to describe the government's move, a kind of holy war in which he was taking the people of the country to fight the wealthy elites and claiming he was fighting for the poor. Don't also forget that this was the Prime Minister who in Goa in November of 2016 at a public meeting says that he wants people to bear the pain for just 50 days, 50 din, and then if any fault is found in his actions or intentions, he was willing to suffer any punishment that the people of the country gave. Let me quote what he said. अगर दिसंबर 30 के बाद कोई मेरी कमी रह जाए, कोई मेरी गलती निकल जाए, कोई मेरा गलत इरादा निकल जाए, आप जिस चौराहे में मुझे खड़ा करेंगे, मैं खड़ा होकर के देश को जो सजा करेगा वो सजा भुगतने के लिए तैयार हूं. I am ready to take any punishment the country gives. Strong words, very strong words that lead me to ask, I don't doubt your intentions, Mr. Prime Minister Modi, but would you at least today admit that possibly demonetization was a bad idea, even worse, chaotically implemented at the time? Forget 50 days. It is now 5 years. Why can this country not at least have a white paper on demonetization? And yes, possibly an apology to the thousands of Indians who suffered and continued to suffer because of a hastily brought in, ill-conceived, badly implemented move, the DeMo pain. Saying sorry would not make Prime Minister Modi a lesser leader in any way, but actually perhaps make him a better leader and a better human being. It may even stop the government in the future from taking such disruptive, dramatic moves without adequate expert consultation. Think about it. That was the Straight Bat. Do of course subscribe to my YouTube channel for many more such videos. For now, stay well, stay safe. Thanks for watching. Namaskar. Jai Hind.